All right, sounds good. It's 6:30, so I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Ask for a roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have minutes from the regular meeting December 8 and special meetings on December 15 and January 7th.
I move for approval of the minutes as presented for December 8th, December 15th, and January 7th.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second then to approve the meeting minutes from regular meeting December 8th and special meeting December 15th and January 7th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign. All right, thank you for all that are in attendance. Looks like we have a nice full house, so appreciate that. And anybody that's listening or watching at home as well. We do have one person signed up for public comment, so at this time, I would ask to come to the stand, Christy Young. Good evening.
Good evening. We're going to pass out some packets that we printed for everyone. I'm Christy Young. I'm from Bridging Brighter Smiles. I'm the Senior Dental Hygiene Director there. We provide dental services in your schools already. There has been a pause in the program. Starting in December, there was a pause. And so I wanted to come here today just to go over and show you some of the things that we do for these kids and how important it is for us to be there. We visit your schools 3 times throughout the school year. So the children receive their dental cleanings twice a year, just like everybody else normally does at their dental offices. We take x-rays. We're finding decay super early now because we're able to find that in between teeth decay, we use sodium, silver diamine fluoride to actually stop the decay right where it's at. So this is super important for those kiddos that may not get to see a dentist for about 6 months. Sometimes it's up to a year. So I don't know how many of you have ever tried to get into a Medicaid dental office, and especially in the Beaver Dam area, you have one dental practice per almost 6,000 people. So trying to get a child in that has Medicaid insurance is almost impossible. We also have relationships with Dr. Vendita. She works at the Beaver Dam Clinic, so we refer to her, and it's a seamless process. We take those x-rays, we have the exams done, and the kids can get in much quicker after they go through our program. I know there was a concern with why the program's on a pause was consent forms. So we don't ever treat any children without a consent form from the parent. One of the thoughts that we had to help this issue was that we could provide the signed consent form with that child as we see those kids when we come into the school. So it's not something we couldn't give you. We can give you that information. We can show you the parents did sign up for this. They did want to enroll in our program, and they accepted to do all these services. Things that we need to be concerned about when we take away a program like this is all the pain and all the emotion, the emotional stress that kids go through when they are embarrassed to smile, when they do have a toothache and they can't even chew their lunch because they have an abscess. We had a kid not in your schools, but in another school that had a chronic earache. It was in the Wausau School District. She had an earache for 6 months. Doctors couldn't figure it out. The parents kept taking her to the doctor, couldn't figure it out. It turned out she had an abscess. And so our team was the team that actually found it. The child came in and we saw it and we're like, oh my gosh, she had had it for 6 months. So these are things that we can help those parents avoid, those children avoid. And when you think about reducing the program, those are some of the things that you should think about that we're going to start taking away from these kids. These kids don't go to the dentist regularly like we get to. Dentistry is a luxury. However you want to look at it, whether you have insurance or not, if you have insurance, dentistry is still very expensive. And so for these families, they have many barriers. Some of the barriers can be that they don't have a car that can drive them to the dental office. A dental office that they can get in might be 2 hours away. The parents can't take time off work. A lot of these practices will also limit the time that those kids can come in. They'll say they can come in on Tuesdays from 1 to 3. This is how dentistry is run in America. It's not just Wisconsin, it's not just Beaver Dam, it's all over. So when we're able to get in there, we're able to do all these early steps for these kiddos. So when the kids go to the dentist office, they don't have to get their cleaning, they don't have to get their x-rays, they don't have to do the sealants or any of those other things. We've already sent all the information to the dental office, and chair time is money for a dentist. So we can limit that chair time. So if they normally would schedule 1 hour, they would schedule 30 minutes. And they would say, we already know what this kid's coming in for. They're coming in for a toothache. We've already got the x-rays. We've already had an exam, because we also have 4 dentists on staff that read all of our x-rays and create treatment plans. These things all will streamline that process to get these kids care sooner, keep them focused at school, keep them eating and keeping them healthy, also better academic scores. If a child has a toothache or they haven't eaten dinner because their tooth hurts and they're at school, they're going to test poorly. That is a fact. And that is not a statistic that I'm just coming up with. And it's also the whole body effect. Your mouth is connected to the rest of your body. When you have runaway abscesses and gum infections and decay, it does go to the rest of your body. It is a concern that you have to think about. And by us coming to the school, we remove all those extra barriers to help these kids get care. I know that we are open to ideas, but we have been an organization for 14 years. We're in over 500 schools throughout Wisconsin. We treat over 26,000 kids 3 times throughout that year. So we know the process that works. We know we've been doing it for a long time. It's a well-oiled machine. We're open to ideas, but we also know what works, and we know that we want to get in and take care of these kids. And we've already had 8 visits at your school this year, and that's not including the 2 that in December that got canceled due to the pause. So we're there almost every month trying to make sure we can take care of everybody as best we can. When we are taking care of the kids, like I said, anyone on our list has an enrollment form. We don't see any child that was not on our list. If they're not on our list, we don't see them. So we have the printed enrollment form that we can provide. We also do triple identity checks to make sure we have the right child. When we go and get the child, we confirm with the teacher, then we also confirm with the child their name, we confirm their grade, we confirm their birthday. So we ensure that we make sure we have the right child. And like I said, if that child is not on the list, we don't ever see a child that day unless the parent works at the school and they have signed a consent form that day. That would be an add-on, but beyond that, if the child's not on the list, we're not seeing them. So it's not just a line up kids and we're seeing everybody that day. We specifically will go to that classroom, or the nurse or whoever, our contact person that helps us, will go to the classroom or call the classroom and ask for that specific child. So we do try and make sure we do 3 to 4 checks on identity, 3 at a minimum, to make sure we are bringing in the right child. And as I said, those children anyone does not have a consent does not make it on the list. I just want to make sure that I put all that information in your packets. You can go back through and see all the different problems that are caused when we stop taking care of these kids. It's not just so they can have a cleaning. It's just to also make sure that they're also healthy. Everything starts with your mouth. They can't eat their lunch. They can't do all of those things. That trickles down all day to the rest of their day, to their happiness, to their social and emotional and mental state, and physical when they are not healthy. So we are there to just try and help remove all those barriers as best we can. And as we've been in an organization for 14 years, we have seen this as the best route. That's it.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Appreciate visiting us tonight, putting this information together, and we'll definitely continue to look at this as we analyze the program.
Thank you.
All right, we have an agenda we'd like to use this evening. If I could have a motion for adoption.
Also move.
Motion and a second to adopt the agenda for this evening. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign. All right, that moves us on to 8.1, reports by admin, school of the month. We have the high school team this evening. Welcome.
All right. Well, thanks for having us tonight. We're excited to showcase some things at BDHS. The team is here to help assist as well. We look forward to giving some good information for tonight. So, School of the Month, I'll start our slide presentation here. Of course, we want to start with our mission and our vision. That really guides us what we do and it helps us stay focused and true to what we need to do every day for kids. Our mission is to continue to create a safe, inclusive, effective learning environment that empowers students to reach their greatest potential through abundant opportunities. Our vision, to prepare and motivate students for a rapidly changing world by fostering critical thinking skills, a global perspective, and a respect for core values of perseverance, responsibility, integrity, diversity, and engagement. Students will experience success today and be prepared for tomorrow. So we really try to live by this every day, demonstrate and model that with everything that we do, especially with our decision making. That leads us right into BD Pride, which is really the foundation of our core values in school. Perseverance, responsibility, integrity, diversity, and engagement. Really promoting this with our students and our staff, engaging students and staff in that because this is how we want to live, so to speak, at Beaver Dam High School. We do acknowledge students that are demonstrating these core values on a daily basis. We have monthly drawings and recognitions for our kids to earn certain things when they're demonstrating this. And again, really a foundational aspect of Beaver Dam High School that we take a lot of pride in. This was developed a few years ago by a lot of our teachers and incorporating this in our building. Our current enrollment as of last week, you can see we're at a total of 988 students. Our seniors are our biggest class right now. That's down a little bit from previous years. So we're currently at 988 overall with our enrollment. The next portion of our presentation will get into some of the school success plan goals. You'll see that coming up here next. And I will turn it over to Mrs. Cashman to lead us through the ELA school success plan goals.
So this school year, we split up our academic goals depending on grade band. So you'll see there's a goal for grades 9 and 10, and then a goal for grade 11. So our desired state for grade 9 and 10 in ELA is 49% proficient or advanced as measured by the pre-ACT Secure. For 11th graders in ELA, we're looking at a 48% desired state. That will be students who are proficient and advanced as measured by ACT ELA assessment. We split these up this year because there's a little bit different measures between the pre-ACT and ACT. They're all part of the same system, but it just kind of made more sense to split up those grade bands, especially because we do want to see the 9th and 10th graders and their performance and track that and set goals for them as well, not just our 11th graders. Some action steps that we've been engaged in this year, a big one is ACT prep embedded into all content areas for students in grades 9 and through 11. Teachers have autonomy to decide what that looks like for their classroom. What does this look like for the content area? We ask teachers to track their ACT prep at least twice per month where they fill out a form. They describe what that prep looks like, and then it comes to us as an admin team where we review it. It's been really great to see some of their creative prep ideas. Some incorporate, hands-on activities into ACT prep. Some do practice questions that are consistent each day, but again, teachers have the autonomy to determine what that looks like in their particular classroom. Another exciting action step that we've engaged in this school year is really focusing on that IXL fidelity. This is our second year with IXL. The recommendation and what's been happening in the ELA classrooms is that students complete at least 2 IXL activities per week, and they have been really strong with managing that completion. Another thing that we did this fall is with the ELA team is we did a really strong deep dive and looked at those beginning of the year fall IXL assessments, compared them to last year's pre-ACT, and the ELA team determine action steps from there based on the beginning of the year data. What are things that they could do in their classrooms with either small groups or individual students to increase those test scores? And then they incorporate that into daily instruction, or they might be pulling groups at win time, and that's been really exciting to see them use that data and incorporate it into their classrooms.
For our math area, very similar to ELA as well. We have it broken down into 2 separate goals, 58% of students in 9th and 10th grade will be proficient as measured on the pre-ACT. And then 48% of our 11th graders measured proficient as, on the ACT. So this is a 5% increase from last year. Pretty aggressive and lofty. We talked about this in August, I think, that we were going to set the bar a little bit even higher with a 5% gain. But we feel like with action steps and things we put in place that it's definitely achievable for our students and our staff. So again, similar to ELA, you can see there's KPI connections there as well of how that all folds in together accordingly. The action steps, we have 2 of them that are same as ELA, IXL Fidelity as well as ACT Prep. One thing with IXL Fidelity that we're doing this year that was different from last year is you heard Mrs. Cashman mention the deep dive in the fall of the data and really meeting with our departments and looking through that, what are some action steps and measurable outcomes that we can achieve. So that was different, really bringing that data to the table and having those conversations. And I have to say our teachers were very receptive to that. That was a little bit new process, but understanding that we need to do that because it's one thing to take a diagnostic test, but then it's like, what do you do with the data? Because that's the important piece. What adjustments and things that we do differently. So feeling confident about that. An example with ACT Prep that I have seen in our math classes where it's a collaborative experience where a group of students is given an ACT prompt. They have to collaborate, work on that problem together, they have to share their thinking with each other, then they share out how they solve that problem with the rest of the class. So again, really embedding it, so it's not like a separate activity for ACT Prep, it's something that becomes a habit. Our ELA and math folks are doing this on a more regular basis, but we're doing that across all content areas because it's not just ELA and math to raise our achievement scores, we have to have a collective effort with everybody. So a little bit different approach there too, but excited to see, you know, how those results shake out when the time comes. Now we'll share some of our IXL progress from fall to winter. So we've just completed our winter diagnostic. We started that before the holiday break. Mrs. Cashman will lead us into the ELA comparison data.
So we've seen some great gains from fall to winter. As you can see, fall data is in yellow, and then the winter data is in green. The thick black lines with the numbers, that indicates the national average. So where are we compared on a national level? And again, you can see the grades are at the bottom, scale score on the left-hand side. We have seen some pretty great jumps from fall to winter, which is about only 3 months. So it shows that those focused and intentional action steps being delivered on a consistent basis is making a big difference. Every single grade saw some type of growth.
So the national average is the average for the end of the year?
No, it's actually the average for winter.
Okay.
So it increases, so the fall averages are not included, these are the winter averages.
Got it.
But yep, and at the end of the year, they will be slightly higher.
Okay, thanks.
So you can see here's our math data from fall to winter. And just a reminder, it's one data point. It's a snapshot in time, right? But it helps us drive conversations and instruction or adjustments. But it's one data point. There's definitely some positive trends here as well with our math scores here in the winter, which is very encouraging. You can see where the national average is. And that national average is comprised of hundreds of thousands of students across all the United States. We're not able to compare within the state of Wisconsin because it's norm reference from a global perspective in the United States. But we wanted to give you some context to see how do we compare to other students across the United States. So some encouraging data there. Typical growth, IXL tells us, is about 10 points per month. So if we're seeing about a 30 to 40% or 30 to 40 point gain, that would be typical growth. You can see there's the 9th grade and 11th grade is a little bit above that. 10th grade pretty close. But 10th grade, if you notice in the fall, started out at a little bit higher level with a scale score there too. So sometimes you don't see maybe as much growth at that stage, but we still have some work to do with all the grades, of course. So, but encouraging, but again, just caution with data. It's one snapshot in time. We'll do another diagnostic test in the spring. Okay. And now I'll turn it over to Mrs. Dugan. She will talk about our goal 3.
All right, so our goal 3 is focused on engagement and connectedness. Our desired state is 11% or less of our ninth graders will be chronically absent by the end of the school year this year. We started out, they were 16% last year, so this is definitely a nice goal for us to meet. It's 5% again. Our current rate as of Monday last Monday, is 10%. So we are meeting that. We are meeting it by 1%, so we're really staying on top of them in order to continue that trend. Also, by the end of the school year, we'll record a favorable school climate rate of 43%, demonstrating an improvement of 5% over last year. We're currently at a 39% right now, so we're really nailing that goal. And once again, we are going to be really focused and staying on top of that as well. Our next progress check will be in early February for that. Also listed are those KPI connections. And then some action steps that we're working on. That ongoing professional development is the topic of a school climate with staff and implementing that of learning. So how we're doing that is I'm leading a four-part presentation for the professional development that is from the book Every Student, Every Day. The main topics include like giving precise directions to students, using positive narration, implementing accountability systems, and building life-altering relationships with students. The second action step is the direct intervention with subgroup students and students who have historically shown chronic absenteeism through our attendance task force team. So this is new to the high school this year. We've created a task force team, attendance task force team. We meet once a month. The first thing we do is obviously present current data, with really focusing on that subgroup of those ninth graders. We have currently assigned task force team members to provide tier 3 interventions with those students that are showing up on that report as being chronically absent. We're also sending postcards to the students that are teetering on that, so before they get to that chronic absenteeism percentage, we are sending postcards to, make that connection that we're happy to have you in school, make a positive comment, and to kind of keep up that good work. During those tier 3 interventions, I want to go back to that. During those tier 3 interventions, what our main focus is to find like the root of what their attendance is. Sometimes it's just a transportation issue, and what can we do to work with the family to get the student there. Sometimes it is because the parent, the caregiver, is at work already by the time the student is supposed to go to school, so they don't have somebody waking them up. So what can we do to provide them an alarm clock, or just, it could be something so little. So what we're doing is really focusing on that relationship building and finding the root of the problem, and then kind of spider webbing from there on what we can do to provide resources for those students. And now I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Gerber.
Good evening, everyone. So school engagement in action. I've talked to you guys a couple times about where we are with our fall participation rates at the high school. I'll be coming back again and talking about winter, but this just kind of sums things up. We do know that kids do better in school, whether that's attendance, grades, discipline-wise, when they are engaged with the school beyond just the classroom. So getting them connected, whether that is a sport, performing art, a club, or some sort of activity. So going back and looking at data from this year, so far, fall and winter combined, 613 individuals at the high school are involved with at least one activity. That's pretty impressive when you consider that our enrollment is at 988. Again, that includes sports, performing arts, clubs, and organizations so far. We also know that we'll have a number of students who are out for trap shooting. That's spring only, and that's all they do, so that number will increase. We also know we have individuals in the spring play, which will be added in. That's going to be going on here pretty quick, as well as some of our spring sports. So that number can still increase, which is really exciting. Last year as a whole, we're at 58%. So we're already way beyond where we were in terms of participation, so that's outstanding. If you want to break it down in terms of gender, we have 322 male students at the high school that are involved in something, compared with 291 female students in their class. Again, when I talk to students at the beginning of the year, we're not pushing get involved with a sport, get involved with a club, get involved with a performing art. It is get involved with something, try something out. And when we talk with freshmen, again, our focus group for attendance, we're really pushing hard on get involved with multiple things. Find something you can latch onto where school is something you want to be at, that you can connect with adults outside of the classroom, with other students from different areas. And again, that connectiveness improves our school culture, our climate, and ultimately our results. Again, I'm comparing our current percentages to last year. So right now, we've already matched the percentages from last year's full year. So again, I believe that those numbers will increase, which is very, very good. At a time when we're seeing across the state less and less participation by kids, we're seeing an increase here in Beaver Dam. Excuse me. Knew that was coming. Some community service and outreach projects. Of course, all of our athletic groups participate in some form of community service throughout the year. We've talked a little bit about that. But just over the holiday, just wanted to highlight 3 of our clubs and organizations. So the FCCLA, if you saw it, they made 65 different stockings which were donated to the Beaver Dam Playground Movement. Pretty awesome event there. The FFA was once again involved with Santa's Holiday Adventure, where they brought kids into the high school and they got to hang out with the animals in John's room, and it was a great experience there. And then Key Club did a ton of different things, between being bell ringers, participating in the Santa's Hometown Holiday Adventure, the blanket making, Shop with a Cop, and Santa Night at Prairie View. So our kids are getting out and making an impact in our community, and making connections with our people. And I don't know why this other one is highlighted in green. It was just happened that way. But this Thursday, between 4:30 and 6:30, if you're not doing anything, Pasta with the Purpose will be at the high school. We have a basketball game at home, so come for some pasta, stay for the game, and it's going. Proceeds are going to the John Moser Fund in cooperation with WBEV. So a nice community tie-in with what we're already doing. Our YA participation is something else that we're really proud of here in Beaver Dam. We have 30 students currently registered with youth apprenticeships in various fields. You can see all of those there, but I'd like to highlight specifically our hospitality and food and beverage, which has always been strong, as well as our health and nursing areas. And I would also like to highlight marketing and professional sales. Just over the weekend, our DECA group competed at their districts and did very well, and we have some individuals that will be qualifying to nationals. Our DECA group continuously has individuals achieving at a high rate, and we've had kids qualifying to the national tournament in Orlando each and every year, so pretty proud of that group. And then some pictures. These pictures come from homecoming. No donkey basketball here.
Good call.
On the left is Halloween at the high school. We had a ton of kids participate in that. The picture on the right is Key Club's food drive, which raised a ton of money again, and their efforts have been pretty amazing over the last couple of years. On the left, we have a guest chef that came in, worked with Ms. Shore's group in the lab, and then was out making different dishes as part of the lunch options during the day. So what a sweet setup that was that day. On the right is a physics lab. that's way beyond me, so I can't even, something to do with nails and balance. On the left is NHS accepting a donation from the American Legion, continuing our relationship with them. And then our last picture there on the right is a picture of the Seckle scrimmage afterwards, in a great event that's hosted yearly in honor of Meg Seckle for all students to work together as part of our Project Unify efforts. And with that, thank you. And I'll turn over questions to John.
Or anybody else for that matter. Any questions from school board?
I have one question.
Sure.
When is the ACT test given?
In March.
In
I
March?
believe it's March 10th this year. And the pre-ACT test will be in early April. And that would be freshmen and sophomores.
What was the time window for the pasta with the purpose?
4:30 to 6:30, I believe.
Yes.
I
Go
started
back.
putting it in my phone and I didn't move fast enough before the slide
I'll
changed.
put it back up there for you, Joanne, so.
There you go.
4:30 to 6:30, so. Any other questions for the team?
Yeah, hey, I just want to let you guys know how proud I am of your team, of the staff. Our visit the other day I thought was absolutely incredible. You know, just a lot of the things that I saw walking through our school were just top notch in my opinion. The student engagement, I think when you show that IXL data, I think that really reflects on exactly what I saw in those classrooms about, I mean, we're talking whether it was chemistry or ag or applied metals. I mean, you're talking, you know, I just saw a lot of engaged students, really eager to learn, and it seemed like they were, you know, like I say, I mean, the engagement was spot on. I know you showed me a couple times of walking through some of those classrooms about the ACT prep and incorporating that into the daily lessons. I think that's a great idea. I'd have to imagine we're going to get some great results from doing something like that. And then just a couple of the other things that you know, like the mission of perseverance, responsibility, student and family connectedness, integrity, and attendance. I mean, the schoolwork is obviously absolutely important, but we're also you know, growing young adults that will be going out into the real world and will be independent. And from my seat, you know, those are some of the most important things that I think we can do to help our young students grow and become independent. So again, I really was impressed, and you guys keep up the good work, all right? Appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate the feedback.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Diana, Carter, this is like a unique opportunity for you to like ask a question or provide a comment.
I did not,
exam week.
I did not tell them to answer that way, Chad. Just so you know. We do meet and prep for the board meeting prior, but I did not say anything regarding that, so they'll do. So, but thank you, appreciate the time, appreciate the feedback.
Good job.
Thanks.
All right, we'll move on to 8.2, open enrollment space availability.
It's really perfect timing for me to present on open enrollment after the high school team presented, because I think any viewers watching might be interested in this information, because they might want to open enroll. Okay. So as you know, each January, in accordance with board policy, we review and establish availability of open space for enrollment space for the upcoming school year. In determining space for the 2026-27 school year, we considered many factors. So we look at current class sizes, we look at existing staffing levels, projected enrollment, and student-to-teacher ratios. Okay, so based on the review of that data, and it's also detailed in your board materials, we are able to offer open enrollment spaces in grades 4K through grade 11 next school year. When we're reviewing the space space availability for students with disabilities, we look very closely at their instructional minutes as outlined in the current IEPs. We look at the related services that are required. We look at our current staffing, projected enrollment again for students that receiving special education services. And then based on that information, we generally do not have open enrollment space for students with IEPs for the upcoming school year. One exception, though, is that this year for students whose IEPs, or the upcoming school year, for current open enrollment applicants, if they have an IEP that is limited to speech and language services only, we do have some availability, okay? So as always, any families with questions, as I anticipate there will be some because of the notoriety and the exceptional presentation by the high school team, they're encouraged to contact us, and we can help them walk through any questions that they have if they contact district office, and we can help them walk through that process if they're interested in open enrollment.
So can you say again what that timeline is?
Oh, nope, I didn't mention the timeline. I think it starts in, I want to say April. It ends April 30th. Ends April 30th.
Okay.
There's a different enrollment window after that with different criteria. I would have to, can get back to you
Traditional
on
open
that.
enrollment's February 2nd through April 30th.
Okay.
But if for some reason something happens and, they want to be considered for the alternative open enrollment time period, there still is opportunities to open enroll outside of April 30th, but we would encourage people to reach out. We're always happy to, give tours, have conversations, talk about how great our schools are, and answer any questions people have.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Otherwise, look for a motion.
I'll move to approve the open enrollment space availability for 2026 and 2027 as presented.
Second.
All right, a motion and a couple seconds to approve the open enrollment space availability for 26, 27. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign. All right.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 9.1. We have our Board of Education student reps, Carter and Dayanara. Just turn it over to you.
All right, so to begin, auditions for our spring play, The Greek Mythology Olympiaganza, began on Tuesday, January 6th at 6:30 p.m. in the auditorium. Additional auditions were held after school on Wednesday, January 7th. Students auditioned for on-stage roles or to help behind the scenes with props, costumes, set building, lighting, and sound. Given how successful Brigadoon was, we're excited to see the spring one.
This past Saturday, members of DECA traveled to DeForest High School, where they competed in the District 3 competition. Out of our 18 students, we had 5 that received awards: Olivia McLanathan, Lucas Schrader, Jackson Brooks, Aiden Jurgen, and Darren Thiel. Congratulations to everyone who participated, and we are looking forward to see their continued success as they move on in state and hopefully the national competitions.
Mr. Gerber basically did some of my job for me, talking about Pass with a Purpose. But I'll just say it again for you guys so you guys can actually go. 9 student organizations, including DECA, HOSA, National Honor Society, Key Club, FCCLA, FFA, Skills USA, and Student Council, and the National Technical Honor Society, will participate in Pasta with a Purpose, a spaghetti dinner fundraiser where 100% of the profits will go towards the John Moses Children's Radiothon. This event is scheduled for Thursday, January 15th, and is not only open to students, but it's also open to community members who are encouraged to join in supporting this important cause. The fundraiser provides an opportunity for students and the local community to come together and raise funds to help children in need.
Also, the senior class blood drive is planned for this Wednesday, January 14th, and students ages 16 and older are encouraged to donate. Community members are also invited. If they are interested, you can register by visiting redcross.org/giveblood, and then you just type in our zip code, and it'll bring you up to Beaver Dam High School, and you can select a time slot. It's super easy, and then that day you come in. It takes usually around 30 minutes or so, and you're in and out. In athletics, boys and girls basketball are both ranking within the top 10 of Division II teams, and are both close to leading the Badger Large Conference. Also, the wrestling team traveled to 2 different meets this weekend. The girls visited Muskego and the boys Sauk Prairie. Finally, girls hockey is having a very successful season with 7 wins and hopefully more to come.
As Mr. Gerber also said, FCCLA gave 60 stockings to the Playground Movement, which is an organization that gives gifts back to the community. We also had all of our a cappella groups come and sing for them for, I think, about 2 hours, which was really great to hear if they usually don't go to their concerts. So we were really proud of them for giving back to such a big Christmas community event. And to close, we would like to wish all high school students the best of luck as they prepare for finals at the end of this week and continued success in the second semester. I know I'll need it.
Any questions, comments?
Yeah, I'll just say too, as I kind of mentioned in the presentation, really proud of you guys as student leaders. I think just, again, in your building, the attitude of the students I thought was top-notch. No matter what classroom we went into, just a lot of smiles, a lot of questions being asked, just all around good attitudes, and so commend you all for that, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. 9.2, Operations Committee.
Okay, operations did not meet any time recently. We had talked about all the minutes that we had for the earlier times. So I would ask whether or not John or Joanne have anything to talk about as far as the referendum project's monthly update goes, or any changes, anything you'd like to report?
No, they're just meeting on site now, and I attended one meeting for that, but you can drive by, you can see it going up. I'm sure that they have more details on that. I see you standing there, so.
I actually took a site tour at end of December. Mr. DeStefano, I asked if I could walk the site, so we spent some time out there and seen them where they're pouring the footings and how the process of heating it up with the concrete and all that. And you know, you sit at the meeting, look at the building we designed it, but then when you actually get on the ground and you look at it, where it's going to go, it's going to be one big building. And you know, saw where the water retention ponds were dug and things like that, and massive topsoil piles, a piece of property in Lombardi Street, when they get rid of that, spread all that topsoil out, someone's gonna be picking a lot of stones. I see quite a few of them laying out there. I know there's gonna be quite a few of them in that pile, so. But it's been moving along really good, so the weather's been pretty cooperative. It was we were out there after we had all that rain that night before, so there wasn't much work going on. It was kind of messy and sloppy out there, but I see they are really going at her again today and last week, so things seem to be moving along.
I thought the high school reps wanted a true agricultural stone picking experience.
There you go, maybe that will work. And what about Washington, the things going on there? And
The cafeteria, the new cafeteria opened when they came back from winter break. And so they've created a temporary hallway to get from the building through the area that still is currently being renovated to the new commons area.
Okay, great. Ryan, do you have anything to add on any of this information?
Yeah, I would just echo John's comments on the middle school. The site work there is going extremely well. Obviously, excavating for the footings and for the building foundation is taking place every week. All the private water mains have been completed for that site. Backfill is being put in at completed foundation walls, and other fill is used as needed for grading throughout the entire site. Rebar and sleeves are being placed in the footing foundation walls, and a big piece of what's going on now is just the waterproofing on the foundation walls that have been already poured. Bids and contracts continue to come in at or below our initial estimates, which is positive, and we currently have 3 to 4 community members actively working on the site full-time. Washington, as Joanne had said, the Commons addition did open last week, and so the addition and the vestibule entrance are complete with the exception of some hot wells in the kitchen, which are going to be installed on Monday the 19th. The health inspection for the kitchen was passed just after Christmas over winter break. We are currently getting pricing on new cafeteria tables that will be installed over the summer for that location, and the construction on the new wall in the old commons to create a new hallway and separate the remodel from the current occupants, which would be our students and staff. That was completed, and work has commenced on the new art and music rooms, and we're anticipating a mid to late February completion for those 2 classrooms. As far as the district projects go, we're at a little bit of a standstill in terms of construction, but the binder layer was laid down prior to the winter storm shortly after Thanksgiving for the high school athletic parking lot. The final coating will take place in the spring, depending on weather. The old football field lights and poles are scheduled to be taken down next week. We're waiting for the ground to refreeze, and it looks like the weather's going to cooperate, so we anticipate that being done mid to late next week. Electrical work is currently waiting on a panel. Once that panel comes in, they have 4 days of work, and then the electric at the high school athletic complex will be done. And then final landscaping will take place in the spring. And the facilities department and I have been working on RFPs for Lincoln and Washington playgrounds, which were released last week. Those are due on February 6th, and we're continuing to work with CG Schmidt in partnership on the site work at Prairie View in Lincoln that will take place this summer.
I did happen, after the meeting that we had at the trailer, I stopped by Washington School and did a tour with the project manager that was there. And that commons, I just needed to say that was really designed beautifully, that's really going to be an asset to the community as well as Washington School, to have that space so close to the athletic fields and with parking and with its own restrooms. It's really going to be an asset for the community's use as well, so.
I got a question. Are the lights that are being taken down, are those being repurposed by any chance? The lights and poles?
Typically, part of the fee for how that comes, for what is charged to bring those down is incorporated into likely what they're actually going to be able to get for the material, for the steel, for example. I don't know what 1980 steel goes for right now, or what they'd be able to use it for. Those poles and the lights, I don't think are, they won't be able to repurpose those in 1980 halogens. But I know that the steel, they're going to probably get something for that. That's part of the cost that we got. If that makes sense, yeah.
And just to note that the monthly update for the public is posted on our website for any of the referendum projects and what's happening. So anybody listening who wants to follow up on that, check the website, and you'll be able to find that. That's all I have.
All right. Teaching and learning did not meet either. All right, and we have committee meetings coming up here in the end of this month. 26th. 9.4, we did have a workshop. The board got together on December 15th for a special meeting workshop. The purpose of the workshop was to reground continuous improvement efforts and discuss feedback from engagement efforts and how that will inform work moving forward. So if you remember, our strategic plan really encompasses 4 key accountability areas: learning and academics, finance, operations and facilities, safe and healthy schools, and engagement and connectedness. And so underneath each of those, you're going to have key performance indicators. And so part of what the administration is doing right now is going through and having community engagement sessions around the key performance areas. Specific to this workshop, there was feedback provided from the survey specific to learning and academics from the engagement sessions, implications for strategic planning and continuous improvement priorities and potential plan adjustments. So after that presentation, the board did have a decent amount of feedback and conversation about potential next steps forward. With that being said, I'd open it up to the board for any other comments that they might have in addition to what we talked about during the workshop. We had such a good conversation.
The plan's moving along. We look forward to seeing the final plan.
Yeah. All right. 9.5. John?
So in our packet, you should have the WASB proposed 2026 resolutions. So at the convention next week, I'll be representing our district and voting on those resolutions. So I would encourage all of you to read through them. If there's anything that sticks out in any way you want me to vote, please let me know. Otherwise, like we've done in the past, it'll be at my discretion, I guess, unless you guys say anything else. There's all kinds of stuff in there, from revisions to the school report card, to funding, to WIA policymaking. There's a total of 12 resolutions. Read through them, and questions, concerns, feel free to reach out. And otherwise, if you got any other different ideas or guidance from me, I'd greatly appreciate it, because I am representing us as a whole group, so.
All right, thank you, John. 9.6, board engagement recognitions, opportunity for the board to share out engagement opportunities they were involved with and any recognition. So with that, it opened up to the board.
I had the opportunity to catch the good old a cappella on on their great Christmas tour. They came and sang at the Kiwanis lunch, and it was really, as always, nice to see them and just to see how much fun they have performing, and of course, a great performance. A couple of unusual experiences I had this month. I was invited to speak at Leadership Beaver Dam's Government Day. I am an alumni of the Leadership Beaver Dam program, and they invited us to come and talk about not just our experience of what it means to be on the school board, but our experience as board members. And I represented the Beaver Dam School Board. John was there also representing county board, so he was also talking about school board stuff too. And it was really nice. The class had great questions, and it was a good opportunity for us to share the work that we do here and how we do it, and really what it means to be on school board. So that was a great day. The second opportunity I had, I was invited by the architects for our project to come and speak to a small group at CISA 1 of districts that are going through facility studies, just because I've been on the board like for a while. I remember a time when we did not have a strong facilities plan, when we went through the first facilities plan and identified some things that were crises that we had to address right away, and then as we've gone through. And I think what I really wanted to bring back to you from that is they asked me to come because Beaver Dam is doing an exceptional job with our facilities and our facilities management, and they really wanted to kind of show us as an example of what happens when you have a district with a strong superintendent, strong board, strong plan, and what's possible. So that's what I wanted to share with you from that. They said, "You don't realize how good you are." I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
A pat on the back, right?
Yeah, right. That doesn't happen every day.
All right, anybody else?
A while ago, we had approved some of the choir kids to go to Iowa for an overnight trip. That was actually on YouTube earlier. Before the board meeting, I was able to watch that choir concert. There's 1,000 kids singing. It was pretty fantastic. And then Friday night, I went to the community theater. They had area high school kids. They call it the Winter Repertory Company, and they were doing Shakespeare, which is not easy, but they were really into it, so that was also really great to see those kids.
Just want to recognize the high school again. Thanks for your time, showing us around. I always say this, but it's always great to visit the classrooms and just see all the great things that are happening. Mike brought up the engagement from the students. It's just wonderful to see that. Just a lot of good things happening in our school buildings. So thanks for that. Thanks for your time on that morning. I also like to recognize the FFA students that help every month with the Second Harvest Mobile Food Pantry bright and early. This month it was snowing pretty hard, and they were out there moving food around, moving pallets, so appreciate their efforts.
Only thing I had is the coffee chat at the high school, and whoever made them the muffins did a heck of a job. I had four to choose from.
I thought you said you had 4.
No, I limited myself to one, but there was 4 different options to choose from, and just that cream cheese frosting is always, gets my attention, so that's what I went with. But I'm not sure who made them, but thank you for the wonderful job.
It's Taher, isn't it?
Tar.
Yeah. They are amazing.
Tower.
I just wanted to really highlight and recognize all the community members that came out last Thursday night for the community engagement session on safe and healthy schools. We had it at the high school. There's a lot of different things going on at the high school or in the area across the street, and that paid dividends. So we had a number of students go through and participate in the feedback, tons of parents, a few different community members that came in as well. But overall, our best community engagement session that we've had. So it was great, and we'll look to replicate that experience again for next month's regarding engagement and connectedness, likely too. So that's a heads up to you, Gerber, because you'll probably have to coordinate the facility use. So thank you in advance. But everybody that was there too did a great job that helped out with the event. So it was just really good to get a lot of great feedback. And just a reminder too that we use that feedback to identify key themes and efforts that then we survey back out on a larger scale to even get more feedback and dial into even more details. And that, again, helps contribute to our key performance indicators, our key accountability areas, and will sharpen the sword for our strategic plan and continuous improvement and give the board a nice set of measurable indicators that they can work with administration on monitoring and helping make Beaver Dam Unified School District the best it can be. I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
Can I add one more thing? I'm sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
I just want to say a big thank you to the crossing guards that we have that are working every day, especially in this type of weather, this cold, rainy, snowy weather. Just a huge thank you to every one of them folks.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I move the board recess into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, paren 1, paren C, to discuss and take action, if appropriate, regarding employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which a governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, specifically to discuss the appointment of an impartial hearing officer for an employee discipline grievance found under Board Policy 3340 and Section 4 of the Employee Handbook, and to discuss specific employees.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to move into closed session. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 All right, we will move into closed session and be back momentarily. Open session. Marge?
I have a motion here. I move that the board appoint Ryan Hayden as the impartial hearing officer for purposes of presiding over pending employee discipline grievance filed under Board Policy 3340 and Section 4 of the Employee Handbook, and also approve the appointment of Melina Piondik as the backup impartial hearing officer should Ryan Hayden be unable to fulfill the role of impartial hearing officer in this matter.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 All right, thank you, Marge. District policy and guidelines, 12.1.
12.1, for you this evening, we have one resignation and one retirement for your consideration.
I move the board approve the resignation and retirement as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the resignation and retirement as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign.
Thank you. We have one leave of absence for your consideration.
I move the board approve the leave of absence as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second then to approve the leave of absence as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign.
And I would request the board approve the appointment of Aaron Torres as an EL teacher at Jefferson Elementary School from January 21st through the end of the school year.
I move the board approve the appointment as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the appointment as presented. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 All right, 12.4, administrative contracts.
Good evening. I'm requesting that the board consider the approval of administrator contracts for 2026 through 2028 for Ryan Gerber, Abby Schmidt, Tiffany Sponholz, and Nicole White. Those would take effect July 1 of 2026.
I move the board approve the administrator contacts for 2026, 2028 for Ryan Gerber, Abby Schmidt, Tiffany Sponholz, and Nicole White, effective July 1st, 2026.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve those administrator contracts as presented. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 All right, payment of claims.
I move for payment of claims in the amount of $7,180,695.89.
Second.
And a motion and a second we have for payment of claims. Ask for a roll call vote again.
Yes.
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 And I ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not